In the pixelated realms of Minecraft, where blocky trees danced under the sun, adventurers shaped their destinies with each crafted tool. But recently, something sinister had spread through Notchwood, a quiet biome nestled between the swamplands and the Brightcliff Mountains. Whispers spoke of parasites that could infect anything, mobs and players alike. This ominous threat created chaos, as infected creatures hunted the untainted for ingredients to sustain the parasite's grim purpose. Evelyn, a skilled botanist and alchemist, stood in her humble hut, surrounded by her cherished library of enchanted potions and shimmering plants. The walls boasted shelves filled with mystical herbs, each contributing to her dream of crafting the ultimate cure. Outside, the sun bathed her biomes in golden light, but she sensed the creeping darkness. It had been days since she last heard the familiar chirps of the nearby pig farm or the amusing moans of zombies. Only an eerie silence interspersed with the occasional hiss of a lurking creeper interrupted her thoughts. "Not again," she muttered, glancing through the window. A glowing Enderman was hiding amongst the trees, the telltale purple gleam of infection pulsing along its limbs. If they succeeded in stealing her ingredients, the consequence could be disastrous. Time to gather supplies, she resolved, bolstering her resolve. She tightened the leather straps of her boots, tucked some healing potions and her trusty diamond sword into her pack, and stepped outside. The atmosphere was thick, shadows moving with an unsettling grace. Beyond the rolling hills of grass lay the remains of the zombie castaway camp, a once bustling locale now fully occupied by the hopelessly infected. As she ventured closer, the moans grew louder, echoing her concern. Evelyn navigated the murky waters of the swamp, trying to sense any danger lurking within. Suddenly, a small horde of infected zombies emerged, their decayed forms shuffling toward her, eyes glazed with madness. They lunged forward, grotesque but slow. With a flick of her wrist, she unleashed a splash potion of healing mist, momentarily stunning the swarm. "Not today!" she yelled, dashing past them. She could almost taste her goal, the legendary whispering flower, known to mitigate the parasite's grip. If she could gather enough of them, she could create a potion potent enough to render the infected harmless. The path to the flower field twisted through dense forests, but Evelyn felt the weight of time pressing against her. Each step resonated with a shared urgency as she envisioned the consequences, endless waves of the infected trampling the land, rendering all safe havens unrecognizable. As she broke through the tree line, she couldn't help the shiver that ran down her spine. The vast expanse of the whispering fields glimmered ahead, bathed in silver-blue moonlight, and crowned with flowers that hummed softly in the breeze. Yet, there was no time to appreciate its beauty. Shadows flitted between the blooms, a group of infected Endermen had descended upon her sanctuary. "Leave the flowers!" she shouted, rushing toward the nearest cluster. The Endermen, driven by an insatiable hunger, turned their piercing eyes towards her. Their bodies pulsed with the taint of the parasite, revealing unmistakable darkness. She could see their long arms reaching for the whispering flowers. She swung her sword, aiming breaching arcs toward the first Enderman, but it vanished in the blink of an eye, only to reappear behind her. A second lunged forward, gripping her arm tightly. In that moment, a sense of before and after warped into a nonsensical state. Time split as she fumbled for the potion of strength. "I won't let you take them," she screamed, tossing a potion at a nearby group of flowering plants. The blossoms erupted in a brilliant light, blinding the infected beings momentarily. With a determined heart, she rushed forth, collecting the flowers before another Enderman could steal them. Just as she secured the precious blossoms, explosive sounds boomed in the distance, the telltale hiss of a creeper. She turned, just in time to witness the blocky form of an infected creeper explode in an enormous firework of destruction, ripping chunks from the land and scattering the remains of her enemies. "Just one more thing to do," she said breathlessly, retreating from the destruction. She rushed homeward, her heart thumping with urgency. Back in her alchemy lab, she worked tirelessly. The gentle crackle of bubbling potions mixed with the frantic pace of her heartbeat, as she ground the whispering flowers into a fine dust and mixed in a hint of golden apples and some glowstone. Finally, as dawn broke over the horizon, the room lit up with a magical glow. She held the completed potion in her hand, a small vial shimmering with hope. But her victory was short-lived. The sounds of footsteps echoed outside. Another horde of infected zombies had tried to breach her sanctuary once again. With a steely resolve, Evelyn took one final swig of her healing potion. "Bring it on," she whispered, rushing out into the fray, ready to defend her world against the scourge of the parasites. The battle for Notchwood was just beginning, but she was armed not just with a potion, but with the determination of a protector. The pixelated realm may be flawed, but as long as she drew breath, she would ensure it remained a place of wonder.